Good morning, gossip friends. So look, I'm up this morning. This is the gold that I was spinning yesterday. So I finished spinning my gold yarn. The state of Illinois versus Bleefnik. Now, a couple of people have asked for this one in the comments, and I was like, oh, let me see what I can find out. So I'm tootling around this morning. Later today, I'm going to be back on that crazy case out of Florida where the football player shot up some people. But I was like, let me look at this case they're calling the Family Feud murder case. Chow. This case is so good. Okay, first of all, why did this guy has to know he's going to be convicted, right? So this is a deal. They're calling it the Family Feud murder case because years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago, he went on Family Feud and they said, what is one thing you wish you had not done at your wedding? And his answer was, say I do. Okay, signs of trouble in the marriage. He's like, no, it's not me. And on Family Feud, he was all smiley and clean cut and everything looked nice and lovely. Then in court, he's all like, he looks like the caveman, tons of hair, facial hair. Not that there's anything wrong with a bunch of facial hair, but when you're a murderer, it's going to make you look more guilty. I'm just letting you know right now. But also he had like a dirty whatever. Looked like things was living in that beard. It was nasty. So he says it was not him. Okay. Somebody broke into his wife's house, used a homemade silencer. Broke into her house with a crowbar, used a homemade silencer and shot her 14 times. That's a lot of gunshots. And apparently she was like, stop, no, whatever. There are all kinds of defensive wounds on her. And so, okay, maybe he didn't do it. Maybe, in my opinion, 14 shots, that's passion. Good passion, bad passion. 14 shots is, to me, a demonstration of passion. But I'm not a psychologist, and Lord knows I am certainly not an attorney. I am just a professional gossip. So I was like, okay, so maybe they don't have that much of a case. Then his Google searches showed, how can I open a window with a crowbar? How can I make a homemade silencer? Sir, coincidence? Was that just a little coinky-dink? I'm going to go with no. And you didn't clear your Google searches? You didn't search on incognito? When will people learn? These people who are committing these crimes clearly do not watch true crime. Like, you're supposed to do some research. I suspect that there's a bunch of criminals out here just not getting caught because they do the research. Maybe only the dumb criminals are getting caught because there's got to be somebody getting away with this mess. If this many people are coming to court, you will never, ever convince me that everybody who does a crime is getting caught. I think some people watch true crime. So I'm not trying to help the criminals, but in case anybody needs to know, you can search on Google on incognito. All your messages, all your text messages need to go on WhatsApp because they are end-to-end encrypted. Also, don't murder people. That is probably the best way to stay out of jail. Just don't be out here murdering people. And then they were going through a hotly contested divorce. Couple of things about this divorce gave me pause. Number one, she was telling all her friends, if anything at all happens to me, it's Tim. Go after Tim. Look for Tim. Yikes. And she didn't just tell one person, giggling, oh, girl, he's getting on my nerves if something happens to me. No, she told a bunch of people in writing, verbally. She was telling everybody who would listen. That's a bad sign. Also, as part of the divorce, they were having 50-50 custody. Okay, fine. And then they started fighting over money and who was going to get the house, as one does in a divorce. Okay, that's all fine. But one of her sticking points, the one she was going to go to the mats for, it was not the money. It was not the house. It was visitation with his father. She did not want those kids to have unsupervised visitation with her father-in-law. What did he do? Is Grandpa Chester child? Anyway, I want to know all of that. And then this divorce case was going to go to trial. Who hears a divorce case? Is there a jury? I would like to volunteer for jury duty for the divorce cases. Can you imagine? How do you pick a jury in a divorce trial? Or is it always just a judge? Everything gets sealed in its family court or whatever. But I think that the system would benefit from having jury duty for divorce cases, mostly because I want to know all your personal business. Something tells me it's probably just the judge. But if it's not, I will call the court today and volunteer for jury duty because that sounds juicy to me. And then so that case is ongoing. 14 times she was shot. sir. You Googled how to make a homemade silencer, sir. And then on you, I believe they found a homemade silencer. You are not good at crime. You should have stuck to something else. You clearly were not good at Family Feud. You were not good at crime. I sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, hope that you have other skills that you are good at, because these are not it. And then also I was poking around on Court TV, and they have a whole bunch of cases about babies who were abandoned. In one case, it was twins. In one case, it was a woman who abandoned her fourth child. Your fourth child? Your fourth child? Ma'am, if you have 4 kids, you knew where the babies was coming from. You knew you were pregnant. And the woman who abandoned her 4th child, they were saying that she had hidden pregnancies before. Lady, I'm going to need you to get your life together, also some birth control, because, wow. Most of these people who abandon kids were teenagers, and that's tragic and that's terrible. I'm grateful that some of the babies lived. Sadly, some of them not so much. But your 4th baby, ooh. She had problems that are bigger than what we can resolve here today on Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo. That's all I'm going to say about her. So later today, we're back in Florida, the case of the state of Florida versus Travis Rudolph, where everybody in the case is entirely unlikable. Just not likable at all. Now, what happened was these dudes rolled up on a guy's house at midnight, banging on the door, wanting to speak to him. Y'all was wrong. You wanted to pick a fight. You picked a fight. Y'all was wrong. You then got your behinds kicked and left. That was probably the only smart thing you did. The only smarter thing you could have done was not go to his house in the first place. He was mad and got a gun and filled your car with 39 bullet holes. In the process, shooting one person and killing another. Also, he was wrong for that. It makes me wonder. He was a football player. He was in training to go to the NFL. So he was like all hopped up and muscular or whatever. Might he have been on a performing enhancing drug that also increased his level of anger? I don't know. I'm merely speculating. Nobody sue me. But that case is terrible on all counts. And the people who went to the house for the fight, all of them have a lot of attitude, sassy, talking back to the judge, rude to everybody, like, y'all not making your case. Listen, if I ever go to court, I'm going to dress like a nun or a school teacher or a nurse, something respectable, and be like, Your Honor, I do not know why that person kneecapped me for saying I was gossiping about them. Would I ever be the person who gossips? I don't think so, Your Honor. And I was speaking hushed tones. I would not, listen, I would code switch like you don't even know. I wouldn't be like, child, and then I would just be like, yes, Your Honor. No, Your Honor. I can't imagine, Your Honor. I would use all of my full words. I would not refer to nobody's mama or their daddy. I would say mother and father. I was raised with some common sense. I don't often demonstrate it, especially not on a nice little YouTube channel here, but I was raised with it. I keep it in my back pocket. Those people down there in Florida, in that case, they might have been raised with some, but they lost it somewhere along the way. One kid was like a law student and the other was a medical student. So you're going today to the honors college during the daytime and rolling up on people's houses with guns by night, sir? That's not going to go good for you. And that is the plaintiff. Those people are on the state side. Everybody in that case is terrible. I can hardly wait to watch more of it today. Also, I have some pink that I'm spinning next. I'm spinning nylon now. So, because during the Tour de Fleece, you're supposed to spin like all different kinds of things. Not that y'all here for the spinning channel, but while you're here, we might as well talk about my other hobbies. My other hobbies being coffee and spinning on my nice spinning wheel. So I'm about to get back to spinning on my spinning wheel. And, I turned on the water in the front so I could water the front gardens. Let me go turn off my water. You have a great, safe day. And if I get around to it, I'll post tonight again about these people in Florida. Otherwise, I'll see y'all in the morning. Bye.